I feel like when we talk about postpartum, it's not just talking about how it is day to day with the baby, it's talking about your life holistically and how that impacts how you are feeling on top of having a baby. But what I've learned the most from this postpartum experience is what's up, tribe, and welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you're new here, my name is Mariah, and in today's video I'm going to be doing something a little bit out of the box for me. I'm going to be doing a quick get ready with me while talking about how things have been for me postpartum. And this is not going to be like my normal chipper type of video. I always promised that on this channel I would be authentic, genuine, and realistic, and the reality of right now is everything is not freaking peaches and cream. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. Today's video is going to be sponsored by Mariah Deck, which is a minimalist beauty brand. They sent me their full line sans brush to go ahead and try out. Their whole motto is less is more, so hopefully that stands true because I don't really have a whole lot of energy for makeup these days. I need something that's quick, fast, and in a hurry. So it came in this little satchel. As many of you who have been here know, on this channel I am all about like positive vibes, positivity. I'm also about being very like realistic and being authentic and genuine. And realistically right now everything isn't all great. I haven't been feeling that great lately. It's really just been kind of like an ongoing struggle, honestly. Oh wow, that is got my mirror pretty good coverage already. Yeah, but honestly it's just been like an ongoing struggle because lately I have not been feeling quite like myself, and that's the only way that I can really describe it, is that I haven't been feeling like myself. I haven't been feeling 100%. I'm usually a very like jovial person, typically making jokes and everything like that, but lately I just have not been feeling as much of in that mode. I mean, I still am joking around, but I just feel like something is really off. This is actually probably the first time I haven't had to mix makeup to actually achieve my shade. Well, that was like super simple. It really is like the whole less is more. Like I have just a little bit of enhancement of what I already have going on. You can still see some of my blemishes, but my goal was not to cake it on so that all of that disappears, because that's just going to make my acne worse. But I feel like this gives like a nice subtle oomph, and it only took about like, I want to say 7 to 10 minutes to complete the whole look. I actually really can appreciate how simple this everyday sort of look is. I feel like it's like just enough without overdoing it. Okay guys, so this is kind of like really difficult for me to actually verbalize as well as share, because I am so accustomed to just dealing with certain things like internally. But in the spirit of transparency and potentially helping someone else, I'm gonna go ahead and spew it all. So postpartum has been a little bit difficult for me in the sense that I'm extremely sleep deprived. I don't know what parent isn't sleep deprived, but I rarely get more than a 4-hour stretch of sleep that's actually like uninterrupted, and that's still at 8, almost going on 9 months now. Rain is not a great sleeper, so he often needs a little bit of comfort in the night. He often cries with or without a pacifier, and I just don't necessarily get a whole lot of sleep. That sleep deprivation has definitely bled into other areas of my life because I don't have the energy to do things that I just naturally enjoy doing. I am so run down and so tired that it's very hard for me to find the energy and the motivation to do those things that are just for me. You hear what I'm saying? I have been a complete failure these last couple of months. I have really missed the mark, and I have, like I said, I've just been failing. I haven't been failing at motherhood. I haven't been failing at being a good wife. What I've been failing at has been loving myself and putting just as much care and dedication into myself and taking proper care of myself as I do my family. And currently right now I'm really working on like why that is. Why is it that I cannot seem to find the motivation? Is it only the sleep deprivation that leads to the lack of motivation for me? I feel like I certainly deserve it, but I don't know what it is that I can't take that step and push myself to actually just put a little bit more love and self-care into me. I can't seem to nail down a routine for myself. I can nail down a routine for Rain just fine, but when it comes to a routine for myself, I can't seem to get that together. Another thing that has been going on is my anxiety. I think it's very natural and very normal for moms to have anxiety, especially when you are a mother who has previously experienced loss. And some people may not understand, and that's okay for them to not understand. But for me, having a baby after having recurrent miscarriages, it takes that anxiety to another level. Like I said, I am not necessarily getting the greatest sleep because I don't have the greatest sleeper, but it's also that with a combination of the fact that even some nights when he is on a good small rhythm of sleep, my mind is racing and my mind is to some extent worrying about if he's okay, if he's breathing fine. And I know, like, intellectually, I know he's fine. Intellectually, I know he's in his own sleep space. I know that, he's warm enough in his sleep sack. I know that he has been fed, so he has all of his needs taken care of, fresh diaper, everything. I know that physically he's fine. Intellectually, I know this. But there's that other part of me, it might seem like a very irrational part of me, that can't help shake the feeling that something might go wrong, and by me going to sleep, I would never want to sleep through something going wrong. I feel like that is a natural feeling that is so beyond difficult to shake. And it's one of those, if you know, and if you don't, thank God you don't. Rain is still in our room and will be until his first birthday. I know we will go through a little bit of a transitional period where we both will probably have a little bit of separation anxiety, being that apart from each other or that far apart from each other all night long. Right now he does nap in his crib, so it's not like he doesn't know what his room space is like and what sleeping in his crib is like. It's just more so at nighttime that bit of attachment and comfort is still there on both our parts. So I know it's going to be a little bit of a potentially rough transition, and when we get to that point, I know that I'm going to basically probably need some help with returning to a normal sleep pattern, because right now it's very hard for me to go to sleep, stay asleep, and get a restful night's sleep because I'm such a light sleeper now. Ever since he's been born, I have become an extremely light sleeper. I was already a somewhat light sleeper, but I've become an extremely light sleeper pretty much since we had him. Now, postpartum has also come with many joys. I do thoroughly enjoy being a mom. Jeremy often makes, I don't know, I would call them giddy remarks about how Rain and I both light up when we see each other and we interact and how cute it is. But I do thoroughly enjoy motherhood and being a mom. It's something that I wanted for a really long time, and it's everything that I thought it would be plus more. They always tell you about that unconditional love, and it is like so true. So it's been very good and very rewarding. It's just also come with its own set of challenges, and the pandemic has only amplified those challenges. As most of you know, we had moved within the last 2 weeks of my pregnancy, so we moved to a different state in the midst of the pandemic while I was pregnant. So all of these transitions happened, and I don't really think I quite had time / took the time to really process all of that stress, because there was just the next thing to get to. While it all worked out really well actually, but there was a lot of stress involved in the moving situation and being pregnant, not knowing where we're going to live, and then moving to our area where essentially we know no one, we're in the midst of a pandemic, and then there's that factor of isolation. So stress and isolation don't necessarily mix well in general, but I don't necessarily know that I had the time to, like I said, process that stress, because it was literally one thing after another, and then motherhood was bestowed upon me, and at that point it was just getting through each day, enjoying each day and getting through each day. And the getting through each day part, I think, is a little bit of a struggle for me right now too, because I don't want my day to just be about getting through, pushing through the 12 to 16 hours until it's time to go to bed and then do it all over again. I want to be able to just thoroughly enjoy my days, and no, you're not going to enjoy everything 24/7, but I definitely want and need more for myself at this current time. I want to get out more. I want to be able to do more things. I know things are starting to open up a lot more right now, but we have gone from living a very, I will say, semi-nomadic traveling type of lifestyle, because our family is blended and so spread out everywhere, to a very sedentary and isolated sort of lifestyle. And that has been very, very, very difficult to deal with in the midst of motherhood. I had all these plans for what I was going to do as far as like meetups and, making mom friends that I could really connect with on an in-person sort of level, and having all these interactions. And now it feels like that's all like kind of wiped away, because I have to be so cautious about who we're around and exposures and all of that type of stuff. So it's a lot. And it also sucks because while I know I want to be social, I feel like it's important for kids to be social as well, and babies to be social as well with other babies their same age. Yes, safety and health is at the highest priority, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like some element of just our normal functioning life is missing and lacking, and that has been, like I said, really, really hard for me to deal with. So it's like I have that anxiety I talked to you about, along with feelings of stress, along with a feeling alone and isolated. And I know I'm not alone, but that feeling, sometimes you just can't help your feelings. It doesn't matter how much you know intellectually, sometimes you just can't help the way you actually feel. And normally I am a huge, if y'all go back, y'all already know I am a huge advocate for therapy. I have been in therapy for many years, since I was a teenager. So I'm a huge advocate for therapy and using mental health tools and not shying away from those types of things. But in the state we're in right now, for me personally, I do not feel like therapy has really helped, because there's nothing that a therapist can necessarily tell me that will help the state of the world change, sure, they can validate my feelings and tell me that what I'm going through is fairly normal or common or not entirely unreasonable, but them giving me something that I can actually implement into my life while the world is in the state it's in is not necessarily the most realistic. Because if you were to ask me about things that I enjoy doing, or what would potentially make you feel better, or what do you thrive on as a human being, what are you passionate about, what do you like to do with your family, a lot of those things, while I love being at home, are things that we would have to physically go out and do that we are not able to really currently do the way we normally do them. If the pandemic wasn't going on right now, we might be on a freaking cruise somewhere at this point. We are those types of people. We were constantly flying places, going on trips, and we plan to do all of that with the baby still. And it's like all of that got whisked away, and I feel like our lives have just changed so much in such a short period of time. And I'm still in the process of adjusting to it all, adjusting to having my husband, who now works from home and has been home since November of 2019. That sounds like so long ago at this point, but just getting acclimated to being in the house together day in and day out, not being able to go on dates per se because of the obvious. So postpartum combined with the pandemic has even been difficult marriage-wise, and I know a lot of relationships are thriving right now and a lot of relationships are also struggling right now, and I think we're somewhat of an ebb and flow in between because being up under each other kind of all day long, and then by the end of the day we're both pretty tired. He's tired from working, I'm tired from being with the baby all day, and then by the time we have any time for each other, it's rolling around to like 8 o'clock at night, and there's just not a lot to do at that point. And yes, we enjoy watching movies together. We have our select TV shows that we watch together. We do little projects around the house together, but it's so different from just doing those things that your relationship thrived off of, and that gave that recharge that you sometimes need. And I think that's what's a little bit of what's missing overall holistically for me right now. There's no space for me to actually recharge. When we went to Key West on our little mini vacation, that was one of the times where I felt like I got just a little glimpse and a little reprieve of recharging. But other than that, in the last year, we haven't been able to do much. It's also been just sucky trying to juggle the dynamics of a blended family and communicating with another parent about the co-parenting situation, like during all of this, and the things that you agree on versus don't agree on, how the kids should be kind of handled in the midst of all of this, if they should be able to travel back and forth, how they're going to be able to travel back and forth, whether or not they should be in school, whether or not they should wear masks. It's just like been what I feel like is like just chaos, just freaking chaos. And while life with Rain is amazing, it truly is, and I definitely feel like he is one of the greatest things that could have ever happened, there's stuff outside of that that impacts my mood and how I'm feeling in my day-to-day. So I feel like when we talk about postpartum, it's not just talking about how it is day to day with the baby, it's talking about your life holistically and how that impacts how you are feeling on top of having a baby. I know some people are feeling similar things. I've talked to so many women that are feeling similar to me in that sense of feeling that isolation. Some of them are going through their own postpartum depressions. Other ones have postpartum anxiety. Some have both. Some are completely overwhelmed. And I definitely can identify with them. And if you're going through that, I definitely see you. I personally have battled depression throughout many years of my life, like way back to teenage years. Okay, it's not way back, I'm not that old. But I know what that looks like and feels like for me personally, and this is just something completely different. This is not that, because for me personally, when I go through depression, I have very specific kind of behavioral cues, and like I said, this is so just separate from that. Like, I feel like this is just one of those weird freaking time periods right now that no one could have prepared for, and no one could have prepared you for as a parent. So I know that was a lot, and the video was probably a little bit more all over the place than I wanted it to be. But like I said, it's really hard sometimes to just really verbalize the inner complexities and intensities of what exactly it is that you are feeling. But for me, I would certainly say that postpartum life has been a true mixture of highly exhausting, highly rewarding, and overall, because of the state of the world right now, it's just been truly difficult. There's really no other way to put it. It's just been freaking hard. And one thing that I really just want to stress that a lot of people like don't realize or don't understand is you can be the epitome of grateful. Like, you can be at the highest point of gratitude. But that doesn't mean every day, every moment, in and out, you're necessarily going to be in the best of spirits, the best of moods, or extremely happy. It's not realistic. And our happiness about a specific situation is not synonymous with our level of gratitude. So if you take something away from this video, please don't take away that I am ungrateful for my child, because I love him to death. I am beyond grateful for him. I would do everything all over again and go through everything that I went through all over again, knowing what I know now. I would do it all over again. But like I said, sometimes how we're doing as far as postpartum goes has a lot to do with how our lives are and what state our lives are in holistically. So yeah, like I said, intellectually, I know that I'm not doing anything wrong. Intellectually, I know that I'm doing the best that I can do. I'm doing all the things that I need to do, but it doesn't stop me from having those feelings that I'm not doing enough and that I should be doing more for my family. Yet somehow I don't find the time or, like I said, the motivation to do more for myself. And that's what makes me feel like a failure, is the fact that I really don't feel like I am taking care of myself the way I should be taking care of myself. Making sure I drink enough water every day. Making sure that I get a decent meal in every day. I take that back. Making sure I get more than just one decent meal in every day. Making sure that I am taking my vitamins and doing self-care things for myself, like going and getting my eyebrows done or going and getting a mani-pedi. Just simple things that I can't find it in me right now to do those things, especially if they involve being apart from my baby. That's like where I'm at in life. I don't feel bad for not wanting to be apart from him, even though I know that like we all need a break, even if it's just for an hour or two from our babies, no matter how much we love them. But that's easier said than done for me. It's much easier said than done. I really struggle. I struggle when I'm in the house with him, with being apart from him, aside from like him being in his room and independently playing. If he's awake, I essentially want to give him my full undivided attention and be as interactive with him as possible. But all of those feelings are all intertwined and all mixed in. So like I said, it's just rough right now. I know I'm going to get through it. I know that, like I said, I am doing the best and being the best parent that I can possibly be. But what I've learned the most from this postpartum experience is I need to put more love and care into myself, my spirit, and my own body. And no one else can do that for me. That's something that I have to figure out. And it hasn't necessarily been easy figuring it out, but I'm gonna get there. Eventually. It's not gonna happen today or tomorrow, but it'll eventually happen. And I've truly been able to really recognize I would like to be the best me I can be for myself. I would like to be the best me I can be for my kids. I would like to be the best me I can be for my husband and my family and my friends. And in order to do that, I have to feel some resemblance of whole. I need to feel whole as an individual in order to continue being those things to and for everyone else. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Simple as that. It's not really simple, but that's where I'm at. So guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking by me and being supportive per usual. Feel free to share if you guys can relate to this at all or are going through kind of similar trials right now or just similar things, not only in your postpartum journeys, but in your freaking pandemic journeys. Know that you guys are definitely not alone. I know it's hard right now and a lot of people are going through some really difficult times, but we definitely got this. We are definitely in this together, and I hope for whatever you're going through right now, you manage to find and identify that it factor, that thing that's going to help get you through it. So with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful and amazing week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Over all the walls